The North Korean Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho has just spoken at a hastily called media conference outside his hotel in New York. He said that U.S. President Donald Trump's words about North Korea over the weekend at the UN General Assembly were clearly a declaration of war, and that North Korea therefore has every right to take countermeasures. Let's go live to our diplomatic editor, James Bays, who's outside the hotel in New York. James, tell us more first about what the North Korean foreign minister said and how worried should we be about this statement?
Well, these were his parting comments as he was leaving the hotel and being driven by US agents, because he gets US security while he's here, to the airport, and then make his way back, we assume, through China and then back to North Korea. And they followed comments that he made to the UN General Assembly on Saturday, and he's gone further. He's taken it further in two ways. He says now that North Korea considers the comments from President Trump earlier in the week, it considers those comments now to be a declaration of war. He also referred to something that happened just before he spoke in the General Assembly on Saturday that he didn't refer to in his speech. Clearly now he's had instructions from Pyongyang, and that is that show of force that took place on Saturday with US bombers and fighter jets coming from Japan, bombers from Guam, that flew together up the eastern coast of North Korea, just in international waters, going further above the demilitarized zone than any US aircraft have done this century. He said that if US bombers, he didn't refer to the fighter jets, were to fly near North Korea, even in international waters, North Korea will shoot them down. So a real ramping up of the language from the North Korean foreign minister. His comments on Saturday were, I described them at the time, as a blistering attack. Well, he's gone even further now in these fresh comments that he's made before leaving New York. He addressed us here, got in his car, and then came back a second time and addressed us, just simply to tell us that all options remain on the table and under consideration of the supreme leadership of his country. Now, we know very well the supreme leadership is one man, Kim.
He talked about countermeasures, James. What options would the North Koreans, what countermeasures would they be considering right now?
Well, he's already mentioned one very publicly, and that's the idea of a new nuclear test, this time an atmospheric nuclear test. And that would be something that would be carried out in the Pacific. It's a very dangerous proposition. It could cause all sorts of pollution, radioactive winds. It would be a nuclear test like the ones you've seen from the 1950s, with a great big mushroom cloud, rather than what North Korea has done in the past, which have been underground, contained nuclear tests. So that's a dangerous proposition. He's already floated the prospect of that taking place.